Hello and welcome! Today we'll be doing another sketchbook tour because that's all I do here. So I did a short drawing challenge with my friend the other month. We both made 15 prompts for each other and exchanged them. If you're interested in seeing the kind of art that she created for these prompts, I will leave her Instagram in the description because she is very talented and please support her. Contrary to all of the sketchbook tours that I've shown you thus far, this one is done completely digitally on my iPad using Procreate. Immediately, the first idea that came to my head, naturally, was corn becoming sentient and seeking revenge on humanity. So I drew what some would refer to as the apocalypse, or as others like to refer to it, Cornmageddon. Typically, the only characters that show up in my comics are me and my partner. So, in an effort to further challenge myself, I asked if any of my friends would volunteer to be featured in my comics, and I told them they would have no idea beforehand what they would be featured in. It would just be anything I felt like. And these three are actually my current/former co-workers. You could say that if this actually happened to us, we would be royally shucked. The only reason the USA still stands to this day is because of dogs, and nothing could convince me otherwise. So I picked a German Shepherd to be front and center. I just think they're very loyal and good, and I think they stand for justice. And on the right, I picked a Border Collie just because I really like Border Collies. I wanted a good, diverse group of dogs here. And then on the left, we have a Pit Bull because I truly believe that Pit Bulls represent America because of the prejudice they face every day. And I think it's important that the stigma is slowly changing in their favor. I pledge allegiance to the WAG of the United States of America and to the Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for paws. And this is another comic that features one of my brave volunteers. When I was in Costa Rica, I visited this wildlife sanctuary where they had some howler monkeys. I just remember like one howler monkey that was perched up on a tree and attempted to pee on one of the guests, and I thought that that was awesome. I made my friend being that guest. I know almost nothing about Dungeons & Dragons, although it's a dream of mine to be involved in a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. So I actually found this post a while ago that gives you different characteristics, and you post it on social media, and then the order of the comments determines the characteristics of this original character. So the species is a Furrian. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and it's from the Chronicles of Riddick. I know almost nothing about that. I tried looking them up. It seemed like they look like normal humans, but they're kind of strong, so that's why I had this character holding a 1-ton weight, because I didn't know how else to represent that they were a little bit different from human. The color was iridescent, so I gave them iridescent legging tights. Someone said they should be wearing a hot dog suit. The name is Captain Shiny Legs. Another comment said they should have red hair. The gender was determined to be non-binary, so I tried to draw an androgynous looking character, which was a lot easier to do since they were already wearing a hot dog suit, so you didn't really have to pay attention to most of the anatomy. Their personality is that they're constantly confused, and the random fact about them is that they love papaya. So the character is holding a papaya and they look confused about it. I didn't know how else to portray that. The secret to a long and happy relationship is death, of course, because if you kill them immediately, they'll never have a chance to disappoint you. So I drew yet another brave volunteer. He's saying happy week-iversary, my love, and he's hugging the tombstone. And the dates say 1992 to 1 week ago because you met them, you ended their life, and you started something amazing. Because when their life ended, your happiness began. Will you marry me? More like will you bury me, am I right? It's not good. This one is a snake with a belly ache after eating too many pancakes, which was a big mistake. This is another comic that has another friend, and I'm like, whoa, how'd you get that scar? And then you find out that a dinosaur bit part of her head off. You could say she must be feeling pretty dino-sore. These have two of my original characters. They're two witch characters that I created last year. The one on the left is a goth flower witch, and the one on the right is a drag witch. And in this particular scene, they are cleaning up an oil spill and saving some derpy-looking penguins. The justice they served to the big greedy oil companies was too gruesome to portray in my comics. Now, if you don't know, Wonho is a former member of the K-pop group Monsta X, and he's known for being incredibly strong and in shape and having incredibly strong thighs. I like a good thigh that can really crush the trachea. He amped up his workout routine by taking this block. The block is the entire patriarchy, and crushing the entire systematic patriarchy between his thighs. And then if it looks like it was traced, it's just because I drew a sketch that was terrible, traced over that sketch to make it less terrible, traced over that sketch to make it look less terrible, and then traced over that sketch, called it a day. So we have a cute Alaskan Malamute escaping with the loot in a parachute. I drew the crab hogalypse, and basically that's when giant crabs rise up from the deep to wreak havoc on humanity, and then a bunch of pigs join in on the fun. This is another one of my friends who volunteered to be in my comics. I personally think this is like the best comic to be featured in out of all of them. I think she lucked out. So I drew a lollipop with a gumball gag and a dominatrix. I drew the worker ants bringing back a sushi love boat for 2 million ants. And then I drew the boat with a little mast and a little pirate flag where instead of a human skull there was a illustration of a ant head. So I made it a real axe, which is an axe attached to fishing line, which is attached to a fishing rod, and I thought that it reminded me of like a weird, dangerous 1950s toy because they didn't really have a lot of like regulations for like safety, and I wanted to illustrate this as if it were like the front of the packaging or maybe an ad in like a catalog for this product. This is my first attempt at trying to draw in this like vintage illustration style, which I don't feel I nailed 100%, but I think I got the gist across, and I like how it turned out. It says outdoor fun for all ages, because you're never too young to impale your brother's skull with an axe. And it also says America's most axe-citing toy. I'm sure this toy would cause a lot of axe-incidents. Prompt number 15, the last prompt, is combine 2 holidays into one. Instead of just picking the typical popular well-known holidays, I decided to look into the national days. So I decided to combine 2 national days together. One is National Old Stuff Day, and the second national day is National Talk Like a Pirate Day. So when you combine those 2 together, I drew this old pirate, and he's going arthritis. Because he's old, and he's a pirate, and he has arthritis. And he has a derpy little parrot friend, whose eyes look deep into your soul. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you thought it was at least not awful, and subscribe if you want to see more than just this.